If you've been laid off or if your company is talking about layoffs and you're worried about your job, it can be really scary. Hi, I'm Tally, and welcome back to my channel where I help people who want more from life build confidence through simple, no-frills ideas. In today's video, I'm going to be covering 5 steps on how to deal with the layoff. But I'm not going to just cover how to deal with the emotions of a layoff, which there's lots of, but I'm actually going to be sharing how to turn it into an opportunity to be honest with yourself and pursue what you really want. Layoffs can be really scary. So first of all, I want to say if you're going through this or if you're worried about potentially going through this, I feel you. This actually happened to me a few years ago. Back in 2020, I got laid off from a corporate project management job that I had for 5 years. It was never my dream to go into corporate project management, but it was a good job and it paid my bills, decent money. What I really wanted to be doing was trying film production, specifically working in the camera department, but it was just too risky to leave my cushy job, so I kind of didn't until I got laid off. When I got laid off, I remember it was June of 2020, I got a call at 8 a.m. from my boss's boss, and it was really scary, and I just remember feeling like, oh my god, what do I do now? Completely lost. I kind of had to give myself a little time to process, and then I realized, you know what, this is actually a really amazing opportunity, because before this, I had these golden handcuffs on, right? I was afraid to leave and go do something scary and uncertain because, I had this cushy job. But then when I got laid off, I was open to considering ideas and to considering paths that when I had my cushy job, I was not open to. I actually ended up a year after I got laid off, I kind of got past the entry level role that you have to be in, the production assistant role and on film sets, and I pretty quickly made my way into the camera assistant role, and I was working my way up into my dream job. And I don't think that would have happened if I hadn't been laid off and I was still at that job, because I would probably still be kind of waiting for that perfect opportunity to jump ship. So layoff was really one of the best things that happened to me, and I fully believe that it can be the same way for you if you take it as an opportunity to get honest with yourself, do some reflecting, do some hard work, and pursue what it is that you actually want. Let's get into the 5 steps of dealing with a layoff. Number 1, give yourself time to process what the hell just happened. I know it's tempting to go rush to LinkedIn, to update your resume and to start looking for jobs and stuff, but just give yourself chill, right? Take a moment. Getting laid off is really emotional. You don't want to be making decisions while you're in this reactive state of mind. If you're just being reactive, you're not giving yourself a chance to really think about what it is that you want. You need to give yourself a little bit of time to get some perspective. Do some things that help you process your emotion and just give yourself some space. Put your phone away for a little while. The first thing I did when I got laid off is I took a little drive to one of my favorite places in the city, and I just, it's a viewpoint, and I just looked out the city and brought my journal and did some writing. I just kind of stared out and listened to my favorite music and wrote about the things that I was afraid of and things I was excited about. So I really suggest things like going for a walk, going for a drive, listening to your favorite listening to your favorite music, disconnecting from your email and your phone as much as you can, and just giving yourself some time to process. Like having some sympathy, like, oh, this is hard. This is not a fun emotion. If you can, write. I really recommend writing because it helps you process your emotions when you can brain dump them. They're not just swirling around, they're actually on paper. Go to the park, go play some catch, take your dog for a really long walk, go for a hike. Call people that you know will be supportive. The first people that I told about my layoff were my mom and my partner, because I knew that they were going to be more excited about this than I am, because they knew it was a good opportunity for me. Whereas I called my dad later in the day because he was going to be more stressed and nervous, and he was just going to make me more nervous as well. So just be mindful of who you share with. Share with the people that you know are going to be the most positive and supportive for you. Figure out your financial runway. So what is your financial runway? It is basically how much time you have before you have to start looking for another job, whether it's part or full-time. So how you do this is you add any severance money that you got from a severance package, if you got one from your layoff, and any unemployment that you're eligible for. Add those together and then divide it by your average monthly expenses, and that'll give you how many months you have to basically not worry about money before you have to start maybe looking for another job or looking for something part-time or another source of income. This was really helpful to me to do basically right away because it helped me see, okay, I actually have about 5 months of runway to kind of explore different options and to talk to people and to be kind of clueless and to work before I have to start going, okay, maybe I need to, get a part-time job or something. If you're thinking about doing something that's a little bit more financially uncertain, like entrepreneurship, like starting a business, then you can also include your savings in that number. So your savings plus your severance package plus your unemployment divided by your average monthly expenses. I wouldn't recommend relying too heavily on this though, because obviously you don't want to be dipping in your savings. Step 2, once you've given yourself some time to process and get out of that reactive state of mind, take an inventory. So I really suggest getting out a pen and paper, or a notebook, a journal, or pulling up a blank Word doc and journal. You're going to answer 3 questions. Where did you end up? Where would you like to go? And what's stopping you? Take about, 10, 15 minutes for each of these questions just to free write. Just brain dump the first things that you think of. So the first question, where did you end up? Reflect on your last job. What did you like? What did you not like? What worked? What didn't work? What did you wish you had more of? What did you wish you had less of? I guess it's kind of like a pros and cons list. Do some reflecting on what worked and what didn't. The second question, where would you like to go? Give yourself a chance to think about those wildest dreams. If there's something that's been nagging at the back of your mind, let yourself indulge that idea. Maybe, and that looks different. I can't tell you what that is for you. For me, it was exploring working in the film industry. For you, it might be taking a year off to travel the world. It might be becoming a digital nomad. It might be starting your own business or freelancing or working as a consultant. It might be trying a new industry altogether. It might be staying in this industry but taking on more of a leadership role. Or maybe you want to go into a nonprofit. Or maybe, you liked your job, but there was just not enough work-life balance and you were working crazy hours and you want something that allows you to have a better balance. So think about what it is that you really want. Let yourself think about those wildest dreams, right? Knowing the thing that you're excited about will give you direction so you can start going in that direction. And then you can always change course and adjust, but at least getting you going in the right direction is kind of what we're aiming for here. And the third part of that journaling is what's stopping you. What is getting in your way of pursuing this? What are you afraid of? What are your own beliefs about yourself or about this situation that are stopping you or preventing you from going all in? It's important not just to know what you want, but also what you're afraid of. Because if you just pretend that your fears don't exist, they're going to rule you. But if you can actually write them down, and if you can see them, then you can address them, right? If you see something, you can manage it. If you see your self-limiting beliefs, then you can go, oh, maybe I should talk to a therapist or to a peer or someone about them. Or if you see, hey, I think I don't have enough knowledge about this, then you can go, oh, well, I better go get some more knowledge on this, right? And I really, really, really recommend watching the TED Talk by Tim Ferriss, if you haven't yet, on why you should define your fears instead of your dreams. Step 3 is for how to handle getting laid off from work. So you've processed your emotions, you've done this inventory, you have an idea of where you want to go next. Figure out your key steps, so your key actions that are going to get you there. We're going to use the 80-20 rule here, which is that 80% of your output comes from 20% of your input. So 80% of your impact comes from 20% of your activities. So what you're going to do is you take out a piece of paper. I know I love writing. Have you noticed a theme in this video? Take out a piece of paper and write out all the possible tasks, all the possible activities that you might need to do in order to get yourself to that goal that we identified in your inventory. Now, of those things, which 20% are going to get you the furthest towards your goals? If you throw away the rest of the list, which 3 to 5 are going to get you the furthest towards your goal? And the reason we want to do this is a lot of times when we're, doing something that's big or scary that we're kind of worried about, we kind of get ourselves stuck in activities that are kind of procrastination activities, like researching past the point of diminishing returns or doing admin work that feels really important but isn't actually going to get you hired or isn't going to get that business started. So you got to figure out what your key steps are, because all the other stuff you can get to, but you want to spend your time on the things that are going to get you the most bang for your buck out of your time. So figure out your 3 to 5 things out of this whole list that if you had to do nothing but those 3 to 5 things, those things are the ones that are gonna get you farthest towards your goal. And if networking is something that you need to do to get closer to your goals, make sure to check out my video, and I'll link to it, my video on networking mistakes that you are making. Okay, step 4, we've identified your key steps, 3 to 5 key things that you need to work on in order to get yourself closer to your goal. Step 4, put it in your calendar. It's a pretty easy one, but it's really important. Don't skip it. Give yourself some deadlines and put them in your calendar. And the reason we do this, the reason it's important to do this, is so that your goals are tangible. You're not just saying, oh, one day I want to do this, because someday, one day are not on the calendar. So if you have 4 months of financial runway before you have to start looking for another job, circle that date from 4 months from now in your calendar, in your planner, wherever it is that you keep it. Put it on a note on your desktop so that you remember your overall date. And don't worry if you get to that date and you're not making a lot of traction. You don't necessarily have to give up on your goals. That can be just the date that you check back in and say, okay, maybe I need to change what I'm doing, take a part-time job while I'm doing this. So that's the first level that we're going to be putting in your calendar. The second level is due dates for your key steps. So put together some milestones. The key steps, the 3 to 5 key steps that we just identified, give yourself some goals with those. If networking is part of what you need to do, which it was for me, you could say a month from now on whatever date, I will have reached out to 20 new people in this industry that I don't know about. Or if you're writing a book, maybe 3 months from now, I'm going to have the first manuscript or the first draft. And the third layer of what you're going to put in your calendar is schedule your daily blocks of time to work on your goals. So it might be maybe from 9 to 12, you reach out to new people, you set up time for networking with people. From 1 to 3, you're learning the tools that you need, the software that you need to be able to know. And from 3 to 5, you're working on your website, whatever those goals are. Schedule those daily blocks of time. You can either put this in your calendar if you have a physical planner, that's great. You can put those blocks of time into your calendar. You can make them recurring events on an online calendar or on a calendar on your phone. Or you can also do kind of the bare minimum, which is just write it on a sticky note, right? Like your daily blocks of time and what you're going to be working on them on a sticky note, and put it on your desktop. That's what I did. And it worked. It was a good reminder of here's what I need to do every day. And that's important because the point of this is to create routine out of working on your goals. The more you have a routine, the fewer decisions you have to make at the beginning of every day of, well, how am I going to spend my time today? Right? Those decisions take up brain power and they zap you of energy because decisions are hard. So you want to make it a routine for yourself to work on your goals every day, because that routine is going to allow you to get a lot of repetition, and repetition is what is ultimately going to get you momentum for working towards your goals. Okay, so we have our plans in our calendar. What next? Well, this is probably the simplest and also the most challenging step, which is work the plan. Put your plan into motion. You have your dates, you have your key steps, you have your daily tasks. Go chip away at that goal. And remember, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. The first thing you're going to come up for yourself isn't necessarily always going to work. You're going to have to change your goals a little bit. You're going to make some mistakes and you're going to learn from them. And that's okay. Stay open about this. Stay honest with yourself about what you want. When those fears start creeping back up, look at the things that you wrote about what you actually want to be doing and kind of come back to your why. And stay open-minded and curious. This doesn't have to be perfect. There's going to be a lot of trial and error in this, but the main thing is that you are on the right direction towards something that feels more aligned to who you are. Now I want to hear from you. What has your experience been with layoffs? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know any questions that you have. I'll do my best to answer them. And remember, layoffs can be scary, but they can also be an incredible opportunity to get honest with yourself and pursue what you really want. You got this.